This evening, we are talking about the amazing things about travel. We want to think and point you in the direction of traveling to collect memories. For ourselves, we are in Entebbe, although we live in Kampala, but we traveled to Entebbe for Easter. Wow. And we thought that we would share our experiences. This is part two of amazing things about traveling. And with the two ladies, they'll be sharing about their travel moments, travel memories, and insights. We will hear their stories of where they have been, places that they have been to away from home, why they went there, and what did they get from their journey or from that trip or that travel that they made. It's really a very easygoing conversation. We are sharing travel experiences, and I will sum up with travel tips. I'll point you into directions. Just for purposes of your understanding, I travel for a living. I'm a tour guide and a tour planner. So if you have any questions about travel, please type your question down there and I'll give you some tips on travel. I will have the two ladies introduce themselves. I only mentioned their names, but just for you to know who they are, you get to hear their voice. We'll start on my left.
Hello everyone, my name is Annette Mbeda, called the Explorer.
That's Hepsula herself. She's traveled on the African continent and beyond. I'll get to probe and ask about her travels, her journeys, why she traveled, what experiences she got, what lessons she picked, what are her travel aspirations. And now to my right.
Hi everyone, my name is Mabel. Yeah.
This is Mabel and this is Annette. We are talking about the amazing things about travel. I'll start again to my left. Your first journey that was longer than 100 kilometers. Where were you coming from? Where were you going? And how was it?
Wow.
School.
Where did you go? First journey?
Tororo Girls.
Okay.
Tororo Girls School.
Okay.
Yes.
Tell us about that journey. First time you were on that journey away from home.
Yeah. Fine. I went to Tororo Girls from senior 1 to senior 4.
So some OGs of Tororo Girls you might be watching, if you're watching live and you know anyone who went to TGS, that was the school then, wow. Tororo Girls School, let them know that you have your OG on Explore with Peter Mugogo and she is sharing her travel story. Yes, TGS, you seniors S1.
Yeah, S1. I was in Kamli Girls Primary School and I really wanted to be away from home. So I thought I would go in a fast school, so I went to Tororo Girls. And first of all, the fun thing during my travel from home to Tororo Girls was a place called Idudi.
Okay.
Idudi, Midway. Yeah, where we used to eat nyama chomas, gonja, maize, you know, like as a kid going or coming from school, we always saved to have those bites on our way home or our way to school. And another thing is that Tororo Girls is next to Malaba, to the border. And it was just nice to see, of course it's called Japland, with the
Japadola
land.
Yes.
It was really different, and it was nice to go to a school with people from different cultures. And we could also get, because I went to Kenya from Tororo Girls, so certain weekends they could take us to the border. Ooh. And that gave me a very nice experience and opened my
amazing. Annette's first travel for more than 100 kilometers was when she was joining secondary school from primary school, because all her primary she had been going to her home area. Literally where she was born is where she studied for her first 7 years. And she mentioned that one of the most memorable things on this journey, at a stopover where they used to sell street food. And the place is called Idudi. There is a famous lawyer in town called Galinsonga. So Galinsonga, your place has been famous for many years. So please know that your place is famous, even in my family. Your first travel away from home.
School still.
School. Okay.
Mine was shorter than hers
Okay.
because I was going to Iganga Secondary School.
From Kamuli to Iganga, that's
It's shorter than
approximately
Tororo.
100. Ganga, Kamuli, it's hardly 100. Yes, but I can imagine. Yes.
Yeah.
What is most memorable about that journey?
Actually, I wasn't coming from Kamuli.
Okay.
I was coming from Kampala
Okay.
when I was going for S1.
Okay. What do you remember most about that journey?
Just the many trucks on the road.
Memorable.
Yes. Yes.
We didn't stop for street
Anything.
food
Okay.
because it's on the highway to the border and there are very many trucks on that highway. So just seeing so many trucks, fuel, most of them are like fuel trailers. Let's call them trailers, fuel trucks. That was really it. There's nothing very
Outstanding.
memorable, nothing outstanding.
Great. So the two ladies, clearly we agree, as we can hear from their stories, the first time they left their home area was for school. So in the last live, we talked about reasons why people travel, and education was one of them. People travel for education, and it's one of the reasons why people travel. So the thing that we will be exploring is how do you travel for one purpose but achieve many goals, get more out of the one trip, that you travel for education but you get more out of that trip. We will be looking again into other reasons why people travel, but I gather that actually for many societies, one of the reasons why people travel, especially on their first trip in the 19th century, most of the times that first trip was for education purposes, especially in Africa. Maybe in other parts of the world is different, but in Africa, for most of us in Africa, our first trip, our maiden trip is usually, or our maiden journey is usually because of education. Okay, so first trip out of Uganda. So the first question was your first journey out of home. Now, your first journey out of the country. Where did you go? And again, tell us about your first journey out of the country.
Wow, my first journey out of the country was to the United Kingdom. And I went.
In Uganda, we call it climbing aluminium.
Wow.
I wish okulinye bati.
Bati.
So my guest on our conversation today, Annette, has had the opportunity to step on the aluminium. In other parts of the world, again in Africa, we say climbing the bird or stepping on aluminium. Okulinye nyonyi, okulinye bati. Those who can make the Luganda translation. But yes, before Annette continues with the journey, to tell us the story of her journey out of the country, I need to thank our hosts. We are doing this live at Green Valley Guest House and Backpackers in Entebbe, and it's a beautiful place. We will share more stories about this place, but these guys, Frank and his wife Molly, are very generous. They have very pleasant spirit. They are very welcoming, very warm, and this is one of the most well decorated, in my opinion. It has very beautiful aesthetics, the decor, the nature, the flowers, potted plants. It's really an amazing place, and I must sorry,
And the birds.
yeah, oh yeah. So she is in love with birds already. Yeah, beautiful birds here. And Annette is there throwing in things that we've been here for about 2 hours now. She said there is an authentic feel about the place. And kudos, thanks to Green Valley Guest House and Backpackers, who are our hosts for this live.
Wow.
Yes, Annette, your first journey out of Uganda.
Wow. What a question.
How old were you? Let's start right there.
It was after university.
Okay.
Yeah.
So you were about 20?
22.
23?
22.
22. Okay.
23.
You were 23 years old.
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah.
Mono.
2000. So I had come among the last 5. I had never been in an aeroplane. And I freaked out the first time I went to the loo.
Aha! Right, pause it right there. If you remember my last live, one of the most interesting things, from the most memorable things about my first trip out of the country was actually the toilet.
Yeah.
Because for me, I didn't know where I'd find the toilet. So I tied for some good number of minutes.
Wow.
Tied.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
isn't this interesting?
Yeah.
I think for people who haven't traveled before by plane, this is actually a pointer for you,
Sure.
that when you get on the plane, there is actually a toilet, and it is interesting. But there is a toilet on the plane. This is the takeaway for you. There is a toilet on the plane, and you can use it and you can enjoy it. She's going to tell us more, but I've had this thread of toilet on the plane for many people that I've talked to about traveling. Yes, please go on. The loo.
The loo. So
You get on the plane.
I got on the plane. Of course, everything around me like didn't look familiar.
Yes, from
It's
the airport.
From the airport, from the scanning, from the check-in. And of course, I was from Africa, and I had gone down to Owino to buy my winter coat because I went in August. And I think August was autumn or end of summer in England. But being that I'm from the equator, from the sun, it was quite cold for me. So I went with this over baggy
Winter jacket.
winter jacket. In Europe, people wear according to sizes, but you know, in Uganda, kasitochigula ngokitekako. So, okay, back to the story of the loo. I was really scared. Of course, I could read the word toilet and I could see the lights on the door, but I was a bit scared.
To get up?
Yeah, to get up. No, yeah, of course I got up, but even to get inside, because it's quite small.
Yeah.
And I really felt claustrophobic. I was so scared. And I just had this imagination in my mind. I'm like, oh my goodness, supposing the door refuses to open when I'm just up there in the air and I'm alone and you cannot call people or something like that. But then
But if I fall through?
yeah, if I fall through, and then I was like, okay, where does the staff go? I'm sorry to say.
I think I'm jumping on someone
Yes, I hope I'm not being so graphic. But anyway. So anyway,
Oh my
so it
Lord.
got done. I went back in my seat, and that was like, oh, I've done it. So that was a tick.
down. Wow.
Yeah.
How long was your flight? I've not been
From here to England, because I don't know, it was a direct flight. Yeah,
Okay.
8 hours.
Yeah.
I think so. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, about 8 hours. Yes.
Yeah.
Wow.
So, but that was just the little bit.
Yes.
I don't know. So when I got to Heathrow, I had never been on an
I haven't been to Heathrow. So tell us and
I've not been to
our
Heathrow.
people,
It's
our
like
friends
the-
who are on
yeah, I
live,
think it's the
share a
biggest-
little bit about Heathrow.
I
Yes.
think
I
you
mean,
get overwhelmed. Heathrow is a bit of the equivalent of Kampala Tax Park with those many taxis.
Yes.
yeah, you're talking in terms of number of locomotives.
Yeah,
yes.
locomotives. Like,
Yes, like
yeah.
the taxis.
Yeah, the aeroplanes.
Yes,
Yeah,
yes.
like I was like, okay. And first of all, you know, it was my first to get on the plane. So also to come out of the plane and you're seeing these jungles with just with small bags. And then
for
for
you,
me,
have all
I
the
had
matoke
carried
they
my
packed for
uni,
you.
my toke. And I was, you know, so the place is so big. And I just couldn't figure out. But I remember my grandmother had told me that if you go to school, eyaso matabula.
If you've
So
been to school.
if you've been to school,
just read the
You
sign.
don't
you
get
just
the-
read the sign. So I kept on looking like, okay, this is the sign, this is the other sign. And then we got to check out. But on the way out of the airport, it was escalators. I think you remember in the 90s, we did not have
We
escalators
never had
in
any
Uganda.
escalator in
So it's
Uganda,
not like
yes.
I go to practice like some people practice nowadays before they go to the Arab world. I
Yes.
see them. Oh, it was terrible. But
Did
this
you
is-
fall?
I didn't fall, but I nearly did. But then these people in England, like they were so kind. I think they could see.
Yeah.
Your
They
overcoat.
could see and tell.
Because the
Oversized
overcoat
coat.
destroyed you.
Your oversized-
I think I had all this luggage, and some gentleman really helped me
Aw.
to carry the luggage, and another one. So I just figured out, you know me, I look at people.
Yeah.
So I was like, I want to see how
Have to
they're
follow
doing
it.
Yeah, so I could see people doing this. So also me, when I got up, and I was like, oh,
Wow.
finally. it was a bit of daunting
Yeah.
experience. You know, you're learning, but like within. So that was the experience. Then we got out. Some people picked me. I reached in North London. I went on the Jubilee line. There are different, I don't know, different routes.
Yes.
Yeah, and I went there. Yeah, you're used to peeling a bunch of bananas, matoke. And then we got there, you count 3 batoke, as in 1, 2, 3 fingers. And then you cut them in the middle. And everything I could not figure out, you know how we are used to our sizes of eating and so on and on.
Good amounts.
A good amount. But of course I had been briefed by my aunties there.
Okay.
And I adjusted, but I was student, so I went on the line to pick my textbook from a certain auntie. And I think the roads seemed to look the same. Okay, the railway tracks. So I went and picked the books, and my auntie told my nephew to give me a push, and he escorted me. So you know, when you're on the railway, the trains are going eastwards, northwards, westwards. So me, I just thought I was on the wrong, but I was on the wrong platform. So I got on the wrong train, and it took me way out of London.
Wow.
Out of where I was. And when you get on the train, that they find you if you're in a different zone, like if you've paid for Central Kampala, and then they find you in Bwaise or Mukono. So I kept on saying, oh my goodness, I didn't see trees when I was coming. And then I just asked somebody, and they told me, oh, you're on the wrong train. And I was way out, and I didn't have a phone.
Wow.
A mobile. So you can imagine the stress
Those
of
who
my
take
auntie.
mobile phones for granted, there was once upon a time.
Time.
There
You could
were
get lost on a
no
train.
Mobile
Yeah,
phones.
in England, and everyone is like, "Oh, I'm sorry." You know, when you ask, so because I was asking people, you know, in Uganda, you can say, "Can you please help me?"
Direct
Says
Direct
me, and
me.
they will tell you, wait, so this is easy. Go down,
Yeah.
slope. Then there is a
Corner
road on the left. Don't take it. Take the right one. But when you take the right one, so it's actually not surprising. It's commonplace.
clash.
Yeah.
Culture clash. We are different. So when you travel, prepare enough. We can pick up something. Pick a cue from our conversation. What she's sharing. You are advantaged. You who is traveling tomorrow or next year or in the future, that you are now traveling at a time when technology has improved communication.
Yes.
But there was such a time when you could not easily communicate to anyone or find information, and the people that you would meet were coming from a different culture. They never imagined how much trouble and stress you could be going through just because you've taken the wrong train.
Sure.
So there was a lady you talked to, and she says you are on the wrong train.
Actually, yes, a gentleman actually on the train, and I don't know if they're like conductors, the people who work on the train.
Yes.
And they really helped me because I was like, it's my first time. I think even they could tell.
Yeah.
But also in the UK or in Europe, when you travel, there are self-help, like directions, the London Tube maps all over. And I went and read that London Tube map up to date.
Like, I don't want to
If you wake me up, I know the Jubilee
know.
line, I know the Central line, I know the Piccadilly line, East Ealing line. I learned like eastbound, westbound. Of course, thanks to the geography I had learned in Torogals, northbound and southbound. Also, just to say, you don't assume, even if it's an era of phones. I think, okay, of course, like right now we have the internet. You can just Google if you're going anywhere, and then you read. It really helps. Thank you.
Wow. I'm trying to unpack this. I asked her one question, and I believe our friends online, you are viewing us online, you're picking up a lot of... She talks about her first journey, and there is a lot of things that she has covered in just one story when she first left. She covered embarrassing things, and I shared with you that my first trip out of my home on Amazing Things About Travel, Part 1, I shared with you, friends, that my first trip was on a train from my village to the industrial town of Uganda in the 80s.
Wow.
And I had an embarrassing situation. I had to go to the toilet.
On the train?
On the train.
In Uganda?
And the train was a long drop. And when you looked into the drop hole, you would see the ground running backwards. So, and that's what I knew in my head, that when you travel and you're on a vessel or a locomotive and you go to the toilet, when you drop something,
It's dropping on
dropping
somebody
on
down.
someone. So when I was on the plane for the first time,
Wow.
so even when I entered, I knew things would be flying in space. So, yeah.
Wow.
Yeah, but something Annette here got lost on a train in London. Something that could have distressed her. But what is interesting again about travel is that because of an error that she made, it inspired her to actually master the travel or the the train routes in the entire London. That if you send her to London tomorrow, she will be like transacting and doing everything naturally just because she made one mistake. So don't be afraid to make that mistake when you travel, because out of that mistake could be great inspiration for you to conquer fears, but also to elevate yourself to the next level. Out of challenge, we get elevation.